Well, hello and welcome. I don't know about you, but I often find this time of year, September, just that beginning of, almost like a new term, the new college year, or of course, the turn of the year. I'm thinking about, what I'm doing and how to focus, maybe how to improve a little bit more. And that's why I want to introduce you to something which I think really sums up my approach to leadership. I'm going to tell you how I got there. I want to tell you a little bit about how it sort of evolved and what it includes. And I'm just going to carry on from there, probably teaching around this, really with two themes. Dual realm leadership is really me teaching about leadership and organizational leadership, and then working with individuals is much more about me and your divine purpose, helping individuals to find their individual divine purpose. And of course, there's loads of overlap. But I want to introduce you to dual realm leadership. And I have been looking for a phrase for quite a while. A lot of you know about me and my approach, about my passion to erase the secular sacred divide. And I was recently doing a podcast with a very good friend of mine. We'd worked a few years ago on something called dual realm healthcare. And so I was doing a podcast with her with that title, and we did a couple of sessions. And the next day, I just wrote to her and I said, hey, would you mind if I used this phrase, dual realm leadership? Because I think it really sums me up. It sums up my approach. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run with this as kind of like an overarching title for my teaching on leadership and organizational leadership. And we'll see where that takes us to, and I'll create just some messages, some lessons, some practical stuff around this dual realm leadership. And so, the dual realm healthcare really is so similar. It's bringing heaven to earth. It's leading from heaven, but on earth, and making sure that we access the best of heaven and, as it were, the best of earth. In fact, my favorite prayer to pray for anybody who's sick is give them the best of Jesus and the best of medicine. And if you put those two things together, it's really unstoppable. Of course, the best of Jesus, absolutely on his own, we know can deal with absolutely everything. But until we've seen that, we're partnering. And so dual realm leadership, that's where it came from. And it really is, it's very simple. I mean, it really is about heaven and earth. It's about leading from heaven, but on earth. And one of the great privileges that we have as leaders is to lead here on earth. And one of our key jobs is to bring change. In fact, I would say that the Christian's job description actually is change. We've sometimes resisted that, but it really is about change. And you look at Revelation 11:15, we see the great statement, and the kingdoms of this earth have become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Christ. And so our assignment is to bring heaven to earth. And so we're leading, I would say, from heaven on earth. And many of you will know that the two things that I want to erase, or the thing I want to erase, is the sacred and secular divide. I want to see that erased. Once there was nothing on earth made by man. I find that staggering. God created, and then he hid everything for us to discover. It's the glory of God to conceal a thing. It's the glory of kings to search it out. And our abilities made in the image of God, we should never have a divide and say there are some things sacred and some things that are secular. I believe in the erasing of the divide. And really then that brings us to what I would say is the marrying of the supernatural and the natural. And that becomes really the goal, is to put these together. We see in the book of Exodus, when Moses went up the mountain and received the instructions for building the tabernacle, incredible instructions. God said to him, go back down, and there you'll find a man called Bezalel. who is skilled in practical stuff, in weaving and sewing and metalwork. He is incredibly skilled. And what's more, God said, that's because the Spirit is upon him. And so I want to see the erasing of the secular sacred divide. I want to see the marrying of the natural and the supernatural. But what I really am believing for, and it sums it up, is dual realm leadership, leading conscious of both realms, the realm of heaven and the realm of earth, the realm of the natural, the realm of the supernatural. That's the goal. And in consequence, to erase any sense of us and them. And what I want to tell you is that in this title, in this theme of dual realm leadership, we will see so much benefit and so much power and so many resources that become available to us. And that's why I just want to briefly introduce you some of the things that will be included as I teach on dual realm leadership. And I'll actually be developing more on this and giving opportunity for people to gather with me in a more personal way, as it were, around a table. It will be a Zoom table, but to gather with me around a Zoom table and to go deeper into some of these things and actually apply them to people's individual circumstances. One of the first places that I began several years ago, quite a few actually, was what I called strategic planning, apostolic strategic planning, which was really, again, it was pulling the resources of heaven into our strategic planning process. And I'll be sharing more on that. But, some of the real keys are to strategic planning, dual realm strategic planning, I could call it now, are that we're looking for the testimonies that we want to see repeated and the prophecies that we want to see fulfilled. Now, right there, you've got two incredible sort of marriages going on of the testimonies, the things that God has done, the prophecies that God has said he will do, and then we bring them to earth, into our organization, into our strategic discovery, into our strategic planning. And that's dual realm leadership, where we are leading from heaven on earth. I also added into that things like revelation and really learning what revelation we're walking in and bringing that down to earth. So the whole area of strategic planning is involved. My approach to organizational coaching is very much wrapped up in dual realm leadership. I want to pull on the wisdom of heaven, but marry it to the wisdom of earth and maximize the benefit. And so we have incredible resources there. So too do we with the whole area of the gift of government or the gift of administration. And I'll teach more on that. I have a lot of teaching on it already, but it's really dual realm leadership. That's why I'm excited about this title. I think I found a title through my good friend, Dr. Kang, that really sums up my approach to leadership that I've kind of been looking for all along. And I teach two principles in the gift of administration. The administrator who doesn't understand the power of God will reduce a move of God or a business or an organization to what man can do without God. But also the administrator who doesn't understand that in the presence of God, God reveals the value that he has for the work of man's hands. Those two go together, dual realm, heaven and earth, marrying the secular and the sacred and the natural and the supernatural. And as well, I would say in the area of character and personal gifting is again very, very similar. And I always go to Isaiah 9:6-7. A child is born, a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder. And there we see that the government is upon the shoulder of a son. So if we want to grow in character as leaders, again, it's dual realm character. It's bringing, as it were, the character of being Christ-like and manifesting that on earth. And I would add to dual realm the whole area of the spirit of wisdom, the spirit of truth, and our ability to really to bring these elements to earth and to apply them to earth. And alongside that, Another teaching, which is very much to me dual realm teaching, is the area of culture and creating the culture that we need to see the increase that we are believing for on earth. So all of these things for me fit very clearly into dual realm. In fact, particularly culture, I love it where Peter writes and he says, we have become partakers of the divine nature. That's the culture of heaven, and we get to bring the culture of heaven to earth. So all of these elements are in there, as well as principles of organizational leadership, which I lean on very strongly. So I'm just going to use this theme for my teaching to leaders, organization leaders, church leaders, business leaders, entrepreneurs, executives, senior civil servants, and teach this dual realm leadership. And I just wanted to introduce you to it here, and I'll be running with this for a while. And as I say, dual realm leadership, that's me teaching leadership. Your divine purpose, that's more about me working with individuals, and I have an online monthly school for that. And actually next year, that's going to be focusing on apostolic discipleship. But these two elements, as it were, one for organizations and organizational leaders, and one for individuals. And of course, some people may do both or may be interested in both. But this is really what I want to introduce you, dual realm leadership. And this is our wonderful assignment, is to bring heaven to earth, to bring tomorrow into the day, to bring about the change that we're believing for, the reformation of our society, a new renaissance, a new season of creativity and inventiveness that gives glory to God, a revival truly bringing heaven to earth in individuals' lives, and then that increasing. These are our desires. And of course, we want to see Judeo-Christian government established and re-established right across our world, because those principles are timeless. So thanks for joining me. Dual realm leadership, leading from heaven on earth, erasing the secular sacred divide, and marrying the natural supernatural, so that we walk without any sense of us and them in our lives. So I look forward to sharing more with you as I walk through this. But welcome to Dual Realm Leadership, which I believe sums up so many things that I've been teaching for many years.